Starting again in 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
We should be live once more.
Okay. So before we were rudely cut off by Ark's shitty ass computer, I was lore dumping about Invader Zim. So but I think that tangent is over.
Probably.
Oh, fantastic episode, everybody.
I mean, we're still going right now, so.
Yeah.
So hopefully, since I'm running it now, for those that don't know, since I'm running this show now, hopefully it'll run and not completely chug.
I have no clue what the hell has been going on with my computer today. This has been absolutely infuriating.
Yeah, my computer does weird shit like that sometimes too.
I'd say the same.
Maybe I should have been the one taking the reins on this one. I shouldn't have put you in that position.
It was fine. If I've handled it before.
But yet, for some reason, it just decided to say no.
Don't know. Bugs the shit out of me.
Well, I'm the one with the reins now, buddy boys. So let's continue on. I'm pretty sure I'm done with my little globe of buildings.
I love your little globe of buildings.
But here's the problem.
You should have put Spider-Man swinging over it.
Where? Where am I going to put Spider-Man swinging in this little fuck ton of a city? Which is not a complete circle, which is infuriating, I know.
You could just have him, like, hovering over it somewhere. Like, say he swung and managed to, I don't know, go high into the air and look down.
Whatever. Your little shine thing looks like a crosshair.
My what?
The one of those one of the little like gleams, little sparkles looks like a damn crosshair. Like someone's trying to shoot Sonic. Probably Eggman.
I love trying to shoot Sonic. It's my favorite activity, actually.
No,
of course it is.
Now I'm confused.
Now I'm gonna do something that's really fucking risky. Not for the stream, but just for this picture.
What?
I'm going to add darkness, therefore adding depth.
Oh no.
Never mind, you don't got this.
Okay, so let's see. You were talking about your Zim thing.
Yeah.
But let's see. What can we build off of that? Okay.
No idea.
That's it. Like a story is important, but it's more back to the characters. Like if the characters are there for comedic purposes, think of like the Animaniacs, Bugs Bunny, the Ed and Eddie, those characters. Then you're doing something right. Like if you can identify someone purely by their appearance or their attitude, then you probably made a really good character.
Hell yeah.
So, but it's
that's what I was ranting about earlier, is that people only ever remember the has-been characters for their appearances and some very token things about their personalities. Nobody remembers Charlie for being the daughter of Lucifer, trying to get sinners out of hell.
Do you know how small scale that is compared to everything else, right?
My point is that nobody remembers Charlie for her character. They only remember her for being some cute blonde that happens to have a thing for girls as well.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all anyone remembers her, is being a cute bisexual blonde.
Yeah. Guilty.
But nobody remembers any of that about Charlie. Nobody remembers Vaggie for being an actually protective, possibly to a false extent, person who actually does seem to care about shit. No one remembers Angel for being a porn star that actually has his own motivation. He's there because he's there for a free bed. That's it. At least that's as far as we've seen in the pilot, anyway.
And the music video. Don't forget the music video. The music video did kind of give a bit of a story, like a little bit of a background.
It gave more about Cherry than it did about Angel, honestly. I'm sorry, but it just showed more Angel being sexy rather than Angel being a character.
That's debatable, but like that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah. My point is,
yeah,
when you remember them only for being cute or being some really nice design, instead of what kind of character they were, I can't say that that's really enough to say that you made a good character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I get what you mean. It's like it's important like that you know what you're doing with your character because otherwise they're going to be twisting in the wind and they're only going to be critiqued by their looks. Like
It's
again,
more that they become memorable in a very token way, but not overall. They're not going to be somebody you look at and say, "This is my all-time favorite character." Like I can say something like that about Goku, for example, because he's not exactly the most like standout looking character, but he always had had a drive, a reason to keep going and face a challenge.
my man literally reached godhood, and he thinks that's still not enough.
Because it's not. Just saying.
Well, I don't think he really cares about reaching godhood.
He already did.
But I don't think that was his main goal, nor do I think he really made himself to be more than everybody else. Like, he still behaved as a human.
More like a kid. Like, because yeah, remember, I'm pretty sure, like, canonically, wasn't he, like, dropped on his head as a kid?
Yeah, he has brain damage.
Yeah, because of a fucking, like, landing craft accident.
He hit his head on a rock. It was funny.
And the fact that we're laughing makes that fact true.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just like it's really like what I think what Ark was trying to get is that like it's all about the message that protagonist is trying to deliver, whatever that message may be.
The character in general doesn't specifically have to be the protagonist.
Like think about the antagonist. Yeah, like
the antagonist can do the same.
Yeah, I think that's the one area we've been avoiding. Like we did talk about the villain for a bit, but I don't think we've really gone in depth about the antagonist.
Sort of. And yeah, there are antagonists that are simply there to be fucked up. Like, to me, the reason why Hunchback of Notre Dame is my all-time favorite Disney movie is because that is the one movie that takes the most risks. It actually shows somebody being fucked up, and it's like a type of fucked up you would expect to encounter in reality. Thus,
like, especially in them olden times.
Well, sort of. It's also a means of saying, like, these kinds of people actually exist. You know, you're going to have to understand that at some point. And that also means, okay, now that I'm aware of it, what am I going to do about it?
Back when Disney
and so you already see some of those signs just from Minister Frollo. If you see those signs in other people, well, immediate red flags start, trying to really figure out, are they actually fucked up or are they just kind of clueless? And the more red flags you find and notice that are actual problems, the faster you can say, okay, I'm going to get the fuck out of this now.
Yeah, like back then, Disney really just kind of went all out in terms of like having like characters that were like I wouldn't say naturally evil. Like I would say minus say Ursula or like the old hat, like the Queen in Snow White. But it's just more like more of this just like their cruel nature. Like you're trying to think about what exactly in their life made them this way. Like, were they just naturally assholes, or is there a more deeper meaning behind it? And honestly, it's fine if the answer is not if that question is not answered. Like, if the character is liked enough.
I prefer to ask the question: what is the reason they're doing this? Because in the end, everybody's got a reason for something they're doing.
I think for Ursula's reasons, it's because like she just wanted power. Like she just wanted to rule the seas. And
sure, and people like that exist.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But then there are some that are like, think of like DC, in the DC universe, far like yeah, it's an edgy ass universe, but I think it's edgy for a good reason. Like, cause it's like, especially if you think about the Batman universe, like you got all these like fucked up people, either them being mutated or just like being flat out psychotic, and you gotta think like, what is the reason for that? Like, you gotta think like the Joker, he's fucked up because an accident happened, or at least that is what is proposed, because nobody truly knows what his origin story is, not even the Joker himself, and he prefers to keep it that way.
Right.
But
Man,
it's
don't even get me
yeah.
started on the Batman universe, bro. That shit is so good.
Or like, and here's the thing, like, think of like Owlman. Yeah, I know he's a character that exists in the DC universe,
I
voiced
don't
by
even
James
know
Woods. But it's like, here's the thing, he wanted to destroy the multiverse, and he was going to do so by destroying Earth Prime, which is what all the other Earths were connected to. Like, he believes that the decisions that we make don't matter. Like every decision we make here in this universe, in another universe, we might have done the opposite or might have not done it at all. So he believes that destroying the multiverse is, and he quotes, the only choice that matters.
I can
So
actually look at the original or the first Spider-Man movies, the ones with Tobey Maguire,
yeah,
and I look at Norman Osborn. His whole thing was he was running this multi-million-dollar company with military contracts. He was making equipment for the military. And then he was working on this really big thing. It was going to change the battlefield forever. Make
and
sure our
then they
boys
just
come home and all that.
and then they just gave him the fucking boot.
Well, no. His thing failed. And so he was like, the existence of my company, my life's work is hinging on this. I need to make this work. And because he was in that desperate moment, he took it to an extreme level to the point where it fucked him up. And basically, his desperation led to him being broken and basically split in two in his own mind. And he ended up targeting Peter because he was getting in the way of everything. And it ultimately led to the way it ultimately ended the way it did because actions have consequences. But at the end, when you really get down to it, Norman Osborn was just a guy trying to save his business, his livelihood, which meant himself and his son. But that also ends up leading to, because he ended up paying the ultimate price, his son now feels the need for revenge. Which, as much as you might want to hate Spider-Man 3, the moment you see Harry Osborn's face when he pulls off the mask, he goes like, this is not supposed to be happening. What the flying fuck is happening
Right.
right now? That to me was good storytelling.
Hell yeah.
I think it's like ever since he discovered that it was Peter that quote unquote killed his father. Like, because you got to remember, he doesn't know about what really happened. It's like it kind of broke him in a way, like almost as it broke Norman when like the people that were basically in charge of his finances and stuff were kind of cutting him out. It kind of broke Harry because he thought Peter was responsible for killing his father, which I mean, I guess technically he kind of was.
Technically was, but when you really get down to it, you also realize he knew that this was his best friend he was looking at, and he still wanted that revenge. He still wanted him to die, and it was his best friend.
Like that's it. It's
Not a
kind
lot
of
of people will commit to that kind of thing in a storytelling sense.
yeah.
Right.
It's
No,
it's not just like that. It's not the fact that he wants to kill Peter. It's the fact that he feels like he has to kill Peter for what he's done.
Basically. But either way, they actually committed to it. They went that extra step, much in the way of Disney going the extra step to say, hey, this is actually fucked up and shit like this does happen. Well, same thing. You can be somebody's best friend, and they didn't understand at all what had happened for whatever reason. they're still going to want their revenge. Because actions have consequences.
Who am I drawing right now?
No clue. Now, actions having consequences isn't exclusive to having an antagonist. Does anybody remember Brave?
Yes.
Yay, I love that movie.
Your silence was starting to concern me.
Well, more was just like you kind of cut out for a moment, and we were just waiting.
Yeah, you did cut
Also,
out.
also,
my
Dom,
internet does that.
also, Dom, whatever you're working on, just go with it.
So, Brave. Does anybody remember the antagonist of that story?
There wasn't exactly one.
Exactly.
Bear.
Yeah, exactly. There was no actual antagonist. There was somebody in the past involving some legend of the land. But that wasn't the antagonist.
Yeah, once I know that wasn't really discovered until like the dots were connected.
Yeah, because he wasn't the antagonist. He was just an element to help the story along. But the whole conflict of the movie was more about my mom won't let me, live any kind of a
She wants me to live on
I get to make my own choice.
Yeah, it's like she wants me to live on a fixed life that I did not choose for myself.
It wants me to live by tradition.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that also kind of plays into, like, real quick, the lesson itself. Just like at that point, I feel like at that point, yeah, it's important to keep tradition, but sometimes, like, when you're at that age where you can kind of make your own decisions, at that point, like, you should start making your own traditions.
Well, given the setting of medieval Scotland, pretty sure that wasn't really much of a thing, but we're in modern day and it's Disney. It's just another like cool setting people haven't really touched on to tell a nice story. But you don't go to movies and stories like these to live in reality again. You go to them to escape reality.
Yeah, screw reality. I hate it. It sucks.
I mean, yeah, we all agree that
reality.
it sucks.
All my homies hate reality.
Speaking of
which,
I want to be a staying raised on Earth.
At the end of the day, a lot of this is why you want your storytelling to be good. You want it to be consistent and make sense and entertaining. That's the big thing.
Which also brings to the question: it's like, do you really need a character to drive a story?
Technically, yes, because the character is a focus of something. Now, the character doesn't necessarily have to be a person.
Yeah.
But there still has to be a focus, a subject of the story.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, a story doesn't have to focus on a single character. Maybe it can focus on a species or a group of people. For
a moment, I legit thought you were going to start talking about rubber.
I have no idea where that would even lead to, let alone. But it's like, yeah, like, what if it just points to a particular group of people and, like, the story about what they do, what they like, how they came to be, etc.
Oh, you're talking about an anthology.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Because I don't know of any stories that focus on a group of people as a whole in the sense of what you're talking about. I'm sure they exist somewhere, but I'm not immediately aware of any of them. But I guess that's also part of the reason why it wouldn't like immediately exist is because you are one person. So it's more relatable for you to follow a story about a single person in a group, sure, but still a single person. It makes you feel more like, oh, I could be that person right there in this story experiencing all this. Thus it becomes more relatable.
Also,
but you can't, you don't have that capacity to spread yourself among 10, 20 individuals or a whole community.
Unless you were ants. But anyway, also, Smooth, that is a good attempt at Animu.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know who I drew. What should I name her?
She definitely looks like a Vanessa.
Makes sense. Okay, your name's Vanessa now.
Vanessa, my beloved.
Let's see. I was trying to think of something, but I'm starting to lose it. Oh yeah. Like let's talk about the one thing that for when it comes to characters or stories that involve like say fighting sequences or sequences where they can get hurt physically or emotionally. Nothing makes or breaks a character more than plot armor. Like, because that can either help out your story or completely kill it.
It helps the story when it's at the start. You want a reason for your character to survive the initial, for lack of a better word, trauma, or the initial near-death experience, so that there's a story to tell to begin with. You know, you cannot look at you cannot look at the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Get the story that Frollo caught the gypsies under the bridge, and then took the kid, and then actually dropped him down the well. Roll credits, movie over. Well, that was a good 10-minute fucking $15
I'm
ticket.
pretty sure that there is a
funny.
video out there somewhere that just has like different. I mean, I know how it should have ended, but it's like I wonder if there's a different like channel or video that just like cuts it, like just like cuts the plot completely out.
Oh, that'd be funny.
But you didn't get the whole story that everybody loves Hunchback of Notre Dame for. Because if they actually dropped him down the well, end of story. What is there to tell? I mean, it's called The Hunchback, not The Mother Who Lost Her Child, which would be an entirely different movie.
Also, Dom, a bit of a drawing error.
What do you want?
You forgot Goku's Adam's apple.
Give me a minute. I'm drawing.
Why is that the important part?
Well, yeah, because like especially since he's kind of close to me, we're moving on. But anyway, yeah, like here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's a reason why I like the show Invincible. You ever heard of Invincible?
I've heard of it.
Like basically, it just says fuck the plot armor. Because it's about this guy, Mark Grayson, not to be confused with Dick Grayson, like who attains his superpowers because his dad was from another planet, like and he wants to become a superhero. He's always been thinking it since his father himself is a superhero. But the thing is that he's just learning to use his newfound powers, and also the fact that he hasn't experienced the harsh reality of being a superhero. Like he goes onto the battlefield like when there's an alien invasion happening, and he experiences firsthand the death and destruction that he needs to prevent. Like he sees people getting shot at, people getting like dismembered, like buildings falling down on crowds, and it's like, and he's just kind of standing there frozen, realizing like I was not trained for this at all. I want to go home. But it's just like it kind of shows you the reality of being a superhero in a realistic kind of scenario where lives are at risk, and like it is up to you to prevent that from happening, because otherwise lots of people will die. And here's the thing, like even when there's battles that he's in, it's not guaranteed that he's gonna win it. Like there has been instances where he's actually been like to the point where he was almost to the point of being dead. Like almost to the point, yeah, I know, keyword almost. Like beaten up so badly, his guts practically busted open for all to see. Yeah, this is not a family-friendly superhero show, let me tell you. And it's just
I'm not watching it.
I mean, you wouldn't watch it. It's on like it's on a subscription thing, so.
Oh,
I'd pirate it.
But anyway, yeah, it kind of shows you that like you don't need plot armor for a character just for it to be a good show. Especially like if you're a show that's trying to be a little bit more realistic with how things work. Because you see these other superhero shows is like, oh yeah, they go in, they save the day, maybe they lose a fight or something. Yeah, move on. But it kind of shows you more, but this show kind of shows you more in depth of how bad things can get. Which yeah, by the way, I also recommend seeing Invincible. It only has 8 episodes, but they're really good.
Well, that kind of comes to another thing that was mentioned earlier, is you want it to, at the end of the day, we're coming to these things, sure, to escape reality, but you can use realism to that extent. But the main thing about it is for it to be, what's the magic E word?
I don't know.
Entertaining.
I was going to say educational.
What the hell? Education and entertainment do not mix.
They can, okay? I've experienced it.
Yeah,
Look, Bill Nye was a
Not
lightning
him.
strike. Okay, it will never happen twice.
It can.
It can. You just like the imagination. Bill Nye can be a superhero if he wanted to.
Exactly.
But yes, as much as I hate beating a dead horse with another dead horse, Hazbin Hotel.
Oh my god.
I'm interested in what it has to say about the idea of forgiving sinners who have already done the worst of the worst. But at the end of the day, it's not going to help me escape reality if it's not entertaining, which is the big thing that it has to live up to. Same with any anime. Any anime that Dom has ever watched, he likes it because he finds it entertaining, just like the millions of other people that have watched those same shows with him.
And obviously, this doesn't just apply to shows. This also applies to, simple books. Like, the one thing I like about certain books is that they basically force you to create the world that they've written out for you. Like sometimes they'll have, sometimes they'll have images. They'll show you images just to kind of give you an idea of where this is all taking place. Like the Edge Chronicles, which, by the way, like a completely underrated series. I recommend reading it when you have the chance. But it's like, it shows you this little fantasy world, and it shows you all the concepts and stuff. But in the end, you're the one that puts the pieces together. You're the one that visualizes how this works. And honestly, I think that's a more enjoying experience than actually watching it happen,
Right.
Because it really gets the brain, imagination juices a flowing to have you thinking okay, I know this story is happening, but what if it went in the other direction? I mean, Marvel's What If, a lot of people had different fan theories about certain things, and that show is literally created to see where those theories go.
I'm sorry,
Right.
I'm sitting here imagining Smeeb sitting just doing the old SpongeBob thing of imagination.
we got maybe 9 minutes. I'm pretty sure she can draw that in a heartbeat.
I can do it real quick while we're talking.
You were saying something.
But yeah, it's just sometimes and there's gonna be those assholes out there who's books are boring, I don't like reading. And it's just
Okay. Really had to diss on me like that.
No, I'm just saying that there's those assholes out there that say books are boring and that it's not as good as the show. Well, first of all, no.
Okay, we're not going to get into middle chancers.
I read manga, and even I can get it.
Yeah, but
so you hate books, but you read manga.
Yeah, because those are pictures. Okay, the pictures make it.
All right, Gaston.
Infinitely better.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Oh, I hate you now.
But yeah, it's just when it comes to reading a story, especially if one that's really good, say the Edge Chronicles, or you remember the Spiderwick Chronicles?
I've heard of it.
I used to read that as a kid, and again, they presented images to help carry the story along, but in the end, you're still visualized it. And you yourself enjoyed that experience, and I think that's the benefit of making a written storybook instead of say a comic book or a manga.
Well, here's the thing. I still enjoyed the Harry Potter series, even though the only pictures I remembered it having was on the cover of the books. And those were paper sleeves.
And again, it shows you just how capable some authors are and how good at their job is. If you're able to visualize these scenarios effectively and enjoying the story as you're reading it, then the authors have done their job. They did what they set out to do and have you go on this journey that you yourself created just by reading their book. You walked the pathway that they set, but in the end, you were the one that visualized how it all happened. Because here's the thing, everybody has their own little version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in terms of the book. Everybody's seen the movie, But like, how many people can say that they've read the book and thought completely different of how it went?
Too many people.
Too many people to count. My mom is obsessed with Harry Potter. Anyway, like, I'm not even kidding. Literally has a standee of Dobby.
Well, let's sort of Smeep, I think you were trying to say something a minute or two ago. Smeep. Smeep. Smeep.
Cool, it wasn't me that died.
There
she left.
There she is.
My mic cut out. Sorry. If I was trying to say something, I completely forgot what it was.
Damn. I guess we'll never
Cool,
know.
it wasn't me that died.
We'll never know in part 3 of this stream.
By the way, I did the thing.
Woohoo!
Yay! Imagination. You know what? I'm gonna. How the fuck do I zoom in on that?
But yes.
At the bottom, there's a little scrolling thing.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you want your thing, whatever it is you're creating, to be entertaining. Otherwise, because that's what draws people to it. You know, there's a reason that people are drawn to Invader Zim.
I can see what you did there.
You really have to keep calling me out.
I mean, it's pretty much the boomer's job to make it's the boomer's job to call out other people's problems than his own.
Oh wow!
I like this Vanessa person.
You say problems, I say quirks.
Don't get me started.
I knew he was gonna say something about it. I knew it. As a person who's never touched MHA, I still know the quirks thing.
I have never actually watched MHA yet.
Don't listen to Sneeb is all I'm gonna say.
Listen, no, it was good for like the first 3 seasons, and then it like stopped being good. And
I still enjoy it.
Okay, well, you can enjoy your shitty anime.
Kids, no fighting in the living room.
Listen. After season 1, half the series became flashbacks to season 1. All right, I can't do it.
And I guess with that, I think the bottom line of all of this is that if you want to make a good story, if you want to make good characters, if you want to make an overall entertaining experience for whoever you're showing this to, be it a reader or a viewer, then it takes time, it takes patience, it takes knowing what is reasonable and what isn't, and perhaps a bit of assistance from other people.
Swag.
It's always a team effort, but yeah, think about what's relatable, and try to be a little restrained instead of just going balls to the wall, intense on everything.
And remember, you can either make a story out of the world you made, or you can make a world, or you can make. Let's see. Am I saying this right? I hope I'm not getting confused.
You're probably getting confused.
Okay, you can either make a story out of the world you made, or you can make
probably
a world out of the story you made.
Swag.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like, you do you, but it wouldn't help to get a second opinion. Like, read a couple fanfics. Read a couple of those low-level fanfics, and you'll understand the lengths you need to go to make it good.
I think it's more a matter of, there's a reason that the credits at the end of every episode of whatever show you watch, whatever movie you watch, is always so goddamn long.
Yeah.
Except for that one Cyanide and Happiness episode, where it was unreasonably long. They literally extended it for, I don't know what reason, but they just did.
Yeah, Alright. So, is that it?
I believe so. I think we managed to get our 2 cents out there quite effectively, despite the many tangents of talking about anime.
You're welcome.
Look, anime is the most relatable thing we can talk about in regards to all this shit because nobody ever watches Western cartoon shows anymore.
I
Says
watch
you
Western.
wascally wabbit.
I watch Western cartoon shows.
I don't as much.
But anyway, we want to thank you for joining this rather scuffed stream, like part 3.
I'll edit everything together into one coherent video later.
Try as you might.
Do not doubt my editing skills,
I doubt your computer.
Yeah, same.
motherfucker.
But yes, like so like I said, like we said in like part 1 or 2, check out the artists that we have on board, which isn't on the screen because ARC. But yeah, like check out their stuff. They have a lot of great designs and like merch that you can buy from them. And speaking
Nightingale, they're linked in the description.
Yep. And speaking of which, speaking of merch, why not sign up on Castle? You know, like a shameless plug. Like like Castle. Should I say it as boring as possible, or should I try to be like fake eccentric?
No, let me take care of this. You want this to be simple. All right, so we talked about a lot of nerd shit today, including anime, including My Hero Academia. There is a My Hero Academia trading card game, if you didn't already know. If you want to get it,
get that for me for my birthday. Ugh.
Well, you can go and buy it through Castle, which use the affiliate link in the description. You can actually do so without paying more, and it helps us out while you're at it for something you were going to get anyway. They have that My Hero Academia, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm pretty sure they have Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway. 40K, Infinity, shit tons of board games that I can't even count, and all the different accessories and tools and other such things you might need for all those different games. So check them out. Pre-orders are 10% off up until day release. That's it.
Be sure to check out all our socials, by the way. This isn't the only channel that exists. I mean, come on, we have lives too.
I don't have that much of one.
You can
okay,
make.
well,
You
I
can
do,
make it.
and I complain a lot. So
You make it like, bro. With the art you have, I'm surprised you aren't making a living.
I mean, I can technically do commissions now.
Then you should.
Then fucking do it, man.
Unless you don't want to, if that's not something you want to do.
I didn't know we were doing a Beatles
episode.
But anyway, thank you everyone for joining our stream. Again, apologies for just having all this shit happen with the separations and the cutouts.
That was entirely unexpected. I apologize.
Well, when in doubt, blame the boomer.
That was not a matter of the boomer's technical savviness either. That was just a straight up technical error.
Yeah, and remember, kids, be sure to drink your almond milk.
Mason?